Good morning, everybody. All getting in sync with our online presence. So good to see everybody. I don't know for you, but for a lot of us, we've been enjoying the summer and out doing stuff. And it's so good to come back and see family. Feel like we're part of something even greater than ourselves. So welcome to Unity in Portland. We're going to start out with love, share, and sing. Okay, sing it with us.
Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love. When it's hard to love, love. Our loving will change the world.
We're going to sing love.
Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love.
When it's hard to love, love. Our loving will change this world. Share,
Share, share, share who you are and share, share, share. When it's hard to share,
our sharing will change this world. Sing, 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 sing,
sing,
sing all together. Sing,
sing, sing.
when it's hard to sing, sing. Our singing will change the world. Care, so care,
Care,
care for each other.
care, care,
Care when it's hard to care. Care, our caring will change the world. Love,
love, love everybody. Love, love,
love when it's hard to love, love. Our loving will change the world. Our loving will change the world. Our loving will change the world.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Our loving will change the world. We welcome you this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland as we gather with this understanding that the love that we are, the very vibration of the universe, this quantum field that we live and move and have our being within, it sources us and reminds us of the truth of our being. You know, Albert Einstein said, "Our separation from each other is an illusion of consciousness." Our separation from each other is an illusion of consciousness. So as we gather this morning, I just want us to realize that as a part of this eternal tapestry of life, we're interconnected, and that the field that we live in, we are both a part of, and it continues on infinitely. And so I'm Reverend Lisa Davis. I'm part of this beautiful spiritual center, and we just welcome you, whether you're online and you're joining us at this time or at another time, and also all of us in this space here, because we realize as interconnected beings, we do create a consciousness. And that consciousness is what changes our planet and our world as we open to larger ideas. And I don't know about you all, but every week this summer, I've been asked to open to a larger idea. Anybody experiencing that? Wait a minute, there's something more. Oh, you thought you got all the answers and they're all right here? Well, there's another list, or there's another idea. And so in just a moment, we're going to open in prayer. And I want to share with you that prayer, the word they translate in the Bible, is the Aramaic word was slatha. And it actually, the sla means to set a trap. And tha means so we can tune in to a higher frequency or a higher essence. And so when we say I'm moving into prayer, we're not going out there to beg or wonder what's happening. Can I get to something out there? Instead, we're opening our hearts. And so I just invite you, if you've been outside in your world just thinking this is happening and this is happening, and my goodness, was there a little bit of news this week? You know, these things are happening, and what do I do with them? I just invite you to move into your heart space and to open to a larger idea that desires to be birthed within each of us. Let's begin this service in prayer. Mother, Father God, infinite spirit, we open. We open to a deeper understanding and awareness that we live and move and have our being within this quantum field. And that vibration of love sources us. Whatever it is that we desire to understand more or to find a larger picture within, we say, yes, here I am, ready, willing to open, to understand, and to say yes to the movement of spirit through me. As we hold this space in our journey, we hold it for those around the planet that may be hurting, that may not be experiencing enough. They may be in a place where someone doesn't realize the innate value that they have. And we hold a space for every being, having all that they need in this moment. Having housing, having respect, having food and water, and wholeness of life. And for this opportunity to gather in this commitment to say yes to creating a world that works for all, we gather in this willingness, and so it is. Amen. And we just are so grateful for all of you to be here. And I know that Lynn is going to come over and share some of what's happening.
Wow, with that introduction, I think I'll just go over here and stand again. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the Unity community that's here in the sanctuary, as well as our friends who are at home. And my biggest announcement is Beth is back. So she will be doing the announcements next week. She's on a 3-hour time change, so we know what that's like. Anyway, I have a very exciting thing to tell you, but I'm going to have Cher come up and do that right now. She is a member of our board, and she's got some exciting news.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, I think most of you probably noticed the scaffolding and the drapery over the scaffolding out front. Well, this is a project we've been working on for about 4 years. The windows are 68 years old, our beautiful, beautiful windows that cast this loving light on us. And so what's happening is, because of the rain and the leakage we've had outside, a lot of the wood and the stays in the windows has been rotting. And we've been so fortunate because you are a giving community. And I just have to thank each and every one of you for the dollars you have given towards raising our $50,000. Right now we have $30,000. We've decided to go ahead and start the project before the rain comes. But we still need to raise $20,000. So just a little explanation of what's happening here. The inside, I have to thank Steve for his fantastic volunteering. Yay! He's been sanding all the inside of the windows, getting ready for the change in the glass. 50% of the gold glass will be changed to blue. Oh, okay. Annette, you didn't hear that. So 50% of the gold will be blue, and we're going to need some volunteers to help paint once we get everything repaired. On the outside, you'll see the sidewalks blocked off. On Monday, they actually will start the restoration. It's very complex and detailed. Happy to talk to you about it. I'll be around for the ice cream social. The whole project will be finished the 1st of October. So, yay, it's happening. So be generous, dig into your pockets, the usual ways that you tithe to the church. Work, checks, PayPal, whatever you use. And we just thank you again. Cash is awesome. Thanks, Ellen. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Cher. So it was probably a couple of months ago when we started our window campaign, and we know people have been asking, when are you going to start the windows? So this is so exciting, and we're looking forward to having them restored to their full glory once again. And so now it's time to welcome our chaplains, both Sherry and Susan, who will be here. They are here holding the space during the service of sacredness, and they will be here after the service. If you have a prayer need and you would like somebody to pray with, they are here for you in order for you to do that in person. If that is not your style of prayer, we also have up here a prayer box. And thank you, Jeff, for bringing that in. We have prayer request forms that you can fill out and drop it in the box, and you will go on to our prayer list. We have a cadre of 36 people in this church who pray every week for all of the names that are put in that prayer box. And it's for a month that you're held in prayer. After that, we send it to Silent Unity for another month of prayers. And it's your first name and last initial, so there is no issue of confidentiality. And also we have something called a dial-a-prayer, or we call it DAP, D-A-P, and that is a recorded message that is changed every day, and you can dial the number to that, and I believe you can get that kind of information either on the tables out in the foyer, or you can talk to one of the chaplains and they can give you that particular number. So changing directions right now. Wasn't our coffee and connection hour fantastic last Sunday? We had all the children and youth played a part in this, and we had so much chili left over. They were selling it after. And also I wanted to tell you that our youth ed department still needs help on Sundays. So if you can share one Sunday a month with our preschool or elementary aged youth, we would love to have adults who are called to love and learn with and from our children, and the training is provided. So please speak to Barbara Savaji, who is down with our children, and she's undoubtedly going to be up here later when the kids come up at the end of our service. So please talk to her. And then Michael said this is his favorite Sunday in the entire year.
That's right.
So, and the reason it's his favorite Sunday is this is our annual ice cream social Sunday.
See?
Yes.
See? That's why.
You get your vitamin C for ice cream, right? Anyway, come and support our garden team. This is their once-a-year fundraiser. And after the service, enjoy your favorite ice cream treat while basking in the beauty of the flowers and the trees, and your love offering gifts provide year-round beauty to our spiritual home. And the suggested love offering for participating in this is $5 for an individual or $15 for a family. However, no one will be turned away for lack of funds. And that is replacing our coffee and connection hour. So instead of going downstairs, we're going to head outside to our lovely garden area. And I know that Bill and the garden team have had a lot of help setting it up, and there's covered areas, and you'll get the lay of the land as you go out there. So I also want to tell you that one of our groups, our outreach group, is starting their summer outreach program, and their collection starts today, and it goes through Sunday, August 27. And it's benefiting children and teens at the Northwest Children's Outreach, With Love Oregon, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and the Community Transitional School. And so what they ask is that you donate new or gently used items, and such as new diaper sizes 4, 5, and 6, children's clothing to 12 months, 12 to 24 months, children's shoes and children's books and toys and twin bed sheets and baby blankets. And I know Carol is on our outreach committee, so if you have additional questions, I'm sure Carol just raised her hand. You're welcome to ask her more about that. And I'm going to ask now Alan Watson just to raise his hand so you know him. He is doing an introductory overview on A Course in Miracles. He's offering a workshop on Sunday, August 20th from 1:15 to 3:45. And he is a licensed Unity teacher, and he will be a weekly study group facilitator, and he's been doing this kind of work since 1978. So if you've heard of A Course in Miracles, and you've just wondered about it, or you've begun reading it and would like a little help grasping the overall message, this is a workshop for you. So that's, please put that on your calendar, August 20th from 1:15 to 3:45. Also, we have coming up on Friday, August 25th, you've probably seen some of the flyers out in the hallway. We have our second summer garden party. It's going to run from 6 to 8:30, and the tickets are $20. And we have special musical guests, Larry Wilder and his friends. Bring your own lawn chair and enjoy refreshments and wine and lovely music. So hope to see you there on Friday, August 25th. And then our world today is faced with so many challenges, and affirmative prayer can bring healing and peace in times of conflict. And so Worldwide Unity is holding their World Day of Prayer, which is not until September 13th and 14th, and the theme is Heart of Healing. And their affirmation is, I open my heart to healing in this moment. And the reason I bring this up now is that they have already sent out a request for your prayer request for this World Day of Healing. So just to let you know that. And lastly, but certainly not least, do we have any guests this morning? Oh, lovely. We have, let's see if I can get it here. Thank you. We have a welcome packet for you. And so if you don't have one, please raise your hand so you can get it. And on the front of it is a little rose. If you put that on, then we'll be able to identify you and come and say hello. And on the back of the card, on the back of the packet, we have a green card. And if you fill this out, it'll be kept confidential. You will be put on our mailing list to hear all of the wonderful things that we just talked about in the announcements, as well as many more things. So we appreciate you being here with us this morning. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Yes, we're so grateful to have many of you here for the first time, or you're coming back for the second or third times. I know I got to meet several or quite a few newcomers today, and I want you to know that wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. We believe at Unity that every one of us is a divine creation of spirit. We're here with a mighty work to do, and all of us are necessary. We are all an important part. If this community works for you, I would encourage you to become a part, because right now, where we are on our planet, we're learning how to live in a new way. We're learning how to educate ourselves, open our minds, find out what worked, what didn't work, and walk forward in another vision. And it's important to have places where we can connect and that remind us, oh, I'm a part of this. I'm a part of humanity. We're all learning to come together. If this community doesn't work for you, I would encourage you to continue seeking. Find a place that says to your heart, oh yes, I remember, I came with, our souls know we came with a work to do. And so I just invite you to continue that seeking until you find what it is that reminds you of that. So we are so grateful to be together, and thank you, Lynn, for being willing to tackle the announcements. I appreciate that. And by the way, I just want to add, those windows, when I started here in 2007, the minister said, by the way, they may fall out. And I said, oh, good to know. And he said, so you better start a campaign now. So I am grateful to see that happening. Sometimes things take a little longer than our minds might say they do, but I just want us to remember that it's all a part of the process, and we get to trust this process. We're going to stand and sing
We're going to sing All That I Need.
All That I Need.
1, 2, 3, 4. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. And I've been set free, I believe. Yes, I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past, the burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. Sweet rain, sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Mine creates all things, into my life it brings. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Here we go. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All I need, yes, all that I need comes to me. All I need, all that I need comes to me.
Oh, yes. And I just invite you to turn to those around you with a handshake, with a welcome, with a namaste, and just welcome them here.
Yes.
As we begin to get ready for meditation, I just wanted be so grateful for all of our singers. We are fortunate to have a music team that just brings so much light and love. And Michael, it's good to have you back. And if you don't know, we have a star with us. Leah Yorkston is the one of the stars from Broadway Rose in the Cinderella, which I went and saw. It was amazing. You are amazing. She's the fairy godmother. But what I loved was the retold story of Cinderella with a woman who finds her power and her ability to speak to the world. And you were so much a part of that. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. And just, you know, we're getting to reimagine our lives, ourselves, the journey that we're on, and to realize there's so much more than we may have realized up until now. And so this little bit of time that we spend in meditation here is a reminder that life is lived from the inside out, and that the more we can get quiet and allow it to move through us, it will transform us. It opens us. And so I just invite you during this little time of meditation to just let yourself be still and remember that truth is eternal within you.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember, to love, serve and remember.
So, taking time now, if it's comfortable, to gently close your eyes. Feel yourself right here in this moment. Feel the chair beneath you, solid, grounded. This is a time to remember who we are, to listen to the still small voice that is within each one of us. Each one of us is a presence and power of the infinite life itself, moving here, right now in this community, opening to more and a deeper love, to remember that we are the chosen ones, as we all are. And this morning, we remember that we are powerful, that we are filled with light and love and joy. And in us is so much we have to give. So now we take a short time to just be quiet, and remember the truth of who we really are right here, right now.
knowing and remembering that we are the light. The light within me salutes the light that is within you. The namaste of life. We see it within ourselves and we share it with the world and we see it within each other. Each one of us is a messenger of truth, of light, and of love. And this morning I share that joy with you as you share it with me. And everyone in this room is lifted up to a higher place. And for this, I am so grateful that this morning for the chance to open heart and hands and minds to a greater message of love. And as I know and believe this to be so in the truth of each one of us, I let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and
To love. Here we go.
to love, serve, and remember. 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 To love.
Here we go. My body and my soul are part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands, they're serving a sacred plan. I know that it's true, and all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you.
My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all along. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you.
Thank you, thank you. Wow, what an idea. All that I am, infinite spirit, I give to you. Now, if we've got a God up in the sky, that can be a really interesting thing. Or if we grew up with a view of God that's judging, or isn't supportive, or doesn't hold that space for all of us that is a larger idea, that can be really tough. And yet, I don't know about you, but life is inviting us to find a larger story, a larger way of seeing that will support us in an understanding as we go through our lives that there is something that is holding us. We don't have to say it's this or it's this or it's this God of our understanding. You can go to the Native American tradition, and they find this essence of oneness, that they're one with and that moves, and it's in nature, it's in life, it moves through them. I actually believe that's what Jesus had also. And we'll look at some of those pieces a little later, but every one of us, by the time we were 5 years old, and whatever tradition we were raised in, what our families had a view of this understanding of the God. Whatever we want to call it, of how is life safe? We answered that question. And what's this bigger picture? And a lot of times we spend the rest of our life undoing that. Once we're willing to get conscious and say, how's this working for me? What is it? And so today, I want us to look a little bit at that idea, but the question I want to ask is, what am I? I believe that every day we wake up, and Emily Cady said we choose bondage or we choose freedom, we choose liberty. And it comes from within us. It doesn't come from what's happening in our world around us. It comes from within us. And another old Unity teacher, I shouldn't say old, she probably wouldn't like that, Imelda Shanklin, she wrote the book, What Are You, in 1965. And she said, if you can't answer that question, you're not going to find happiness, you're not going to find peace. And I remember thinking, that's ridiculous. And then, of course, my mother, that was one of her questions she used to ask me, what are you? And I would say, Mom, you know exactly. I'm a senior in high school. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And what Imelda says about that is, that's not the answer to what are you. That's the answer to who are you. And every day we live in the who am I. I have this much schooling, I have this happened to me in my world, and this happened to me, and it's all the stuff that's around us. What are you? When we can truly answer that, what am I? We're answering the question of the eternal within us. Have I recognized that there is an eternal essence in the universe and that it's within me? And when I begin finding that answer of, yes, what am I? I am an infinite creation of spirit that was created whole, complete, and here with a mighty work to do. How would our day be different if that was the answer to our question? Instead of, who am I? I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, I just looked in the mirror and this doesn't look good and I don't like that and you won't believe what happened over here and look what's happening in the government and look what's happening in this part of the world and this part of the world. It doesn't mean we don't need to show up and pay attention. But we also get to say, what am I? And when we can begin to open to a larger idea that I am the wholeness, I am the life, I am a presence and a power, and that I have the eternal spark of the universe within me, then we begin building a different life. We actually build a different body. Because the thoughts that we think, and quantum physics shows us this all the time, the thoughts that we think affect our body, they affect our lives, they affect how we move through our journey, they affect all of it. And so we get to decide what we are. And then we get to recreate that idea. So what Imelda said was, until you can answer this question properly and correctly at any time that it is asked, you do not know yourself well enough to trust yourself to be happy, to be assured of continued safety and well-being. And then she went on to say, if you've been considering yourself wholly a personal entity, you will also answer the question of who are you instead of what are you? And the error in your mind which causes you to assume the who when you should recognize the what is the source of every misunderstanding in life that perplexes you. So when I'm having a bad day, if I switch to what am I? In the midst of stuff going on, and honestly, I don't know anybody on our planet right now that doesn't have stuff going on. It's there. Stress is an evolutionary driver. We know that. Most of us would like to say no, but instead we realize this stuff comes to us so we can open and find a larger idea and find something more. But when I begin saying, what am I in the midst of this breath? With what's happening right now, what am I? We have an answer. We have an opportunity to answer differently at any moment. There's never a moment in our lives where there isn't the full potentiality of spirit. It's whether or not we can move our mind to that place. We can move our ideas to that place. And so part of what we've been looking at, and this is the 5th week we've been doing that, we've been looking at some of the teachings of what I call organized religion, you might say more fundamental Christianity, that have been really tough to hear. And I've been inviting us into the idea that there is a different language that can be used, that many of these ideas were so small that, first of all, they have nothing to do with the teachings of Jesus. Instead, they have to do with councils, Council of Nicaea, this group, they were made hundreds of years later, and that turned into organized Christianity. Jim Palmer is one of the people that has been working for the last 20 years in looking at what he calls religious trauma and what has happened in people's lives when they followed these ideas and found themselves not surviving in them, and they left. And so he's been working with people saying, what do you do? Now, he left Willow Creek. He left a mega church, and he found that when he said, well, I don't actually believe that everybody's going to hell who doesn't believe this, all of the Buddhists, and what can I just teach a larger idea? And of course, he got thrown out, lost everything, and then had to begin again with, well, who am I? And really, what am I? Within the midst of it. And it's to me, it's a little funny because what he's teaching, so many of these ideas are unity. They're just new thought ideas that are a little larger. But what he said, you may have grown up in the midst of lies. And those lies are, I am inherently bad. I can't trust myself. My heart is wicked. I deserve punishment. I don't measure up. I'm powerless. Self-denial is holiness. And he goes on, I need forgiveness for who I am. I need saved from myself. Self-care is selfish. The world is evil. If I mess up, I will lose my salvation and go to hell. Anybody grow up with any of these ideas? A few people did. And those were ideas that when ideas have shaped us, if we grew up in a family where there was abuse or there was addiction or there was, we have to then recreate who we are. We have to recreate the idea of what we are. And we have to go back to these ideas because if we live from this place and we don't actually go back and shift, I am powerless. I don't measure up. The world doesn't support me. If this guy doesn't love me and I don't work as hard as I can to get wherever it is I'm supposed to go, then I'm never going to get there and I'm going to fail. If we don't shift that, then we find ourselves in really interesting places. And my belief is that the universe continues to invite us into situations where we have the opportunity to face again that which we have, those old ideas. Anybody find that? Anybody find it collectively right now? These old ideas, we're saying no more. We can't live in a world that has systemic racism as the core. Instead, we have to educate ourselves. We have to find out where the privilege is. We have to go back and we have to find out, wait a minute, it's not that I'm powerless, because if I'm powerless, then I could believe you're powerless and you don't have worth. And if I don't have worth, and it was a whole circle. that kept people bound. And as we say no to these ideas, we have the ability to say, and no over here. This isn't the truth of what is there. So what we've been looking at and what I've been doing is just reminding myself the words that were said are not these words. And so if you hear someone, and we have someone on our walk who continually comes up to us and reminds us that Jesus loves us. And my daughter and I are getting up and walking a few miles now. We're up to 3, in the morning. And she wants to stop and remind us about this Jesus. And it was funny. Last Sunday, she did it also. And I thought, oh, honey, if you knew where I was going, I don't think you'd want to talk to me. But I just let it be. And I realized that's her world. And if it works for her, that's fine. But we have to find a world that is large enough. And I want to share with you just some of the teachings that we may have missed. And so the basis for which we were taught some of these ideas are not real. So prayer is not begging. It's not beseeching some guy up in the sky. I use the word quantum field more and more when I talk about God, the infinite presence and power, this creative energy, because I think it's larger than we understand. Quantum physics calls it the 0-point energy field, and it is the field that is required in mathematics for everything to work. It's what's there and creative and energy when you get down to nothing in science. It's there. What would happen if we had a belief, what I am is a creation of this field, and wherever I go, I am held within that field. And Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said that that field is the energy of love. And if I take that in, then maybe I have a larger idea of what life is. In looking at the idea of prayer, in Aramaic, we got some really interesting information, and I just want to share some of it with you. I've been working with, I remember as a kid hearing George Lambza, who came in first, it was the first one who said, the Lord's Prayer, that first line is not male or female. There is actually no word Lord in Aramaic. And if Jesus said the Lord's Prayer, he said it in Aramaic. Aramaic is one of the Semitic languages. It was a nomadic tribe. That was where they were, but there's no actual word Lord. That idea and the feudal connotations came much later than that. Then who I'm using right now is Neil Douglas Klotz, and it's Revelations of the Aramaic Jesus. And he went on from there, and so did quite a few others. But I just want to take, the line, you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. I know all of us had heard that. I loved it. He said, when or if Jesus said these words, he said them in Aramaic, one of the several ancient Semitic languages rooted in thousands of years of Southwest Asian nomadic experience. In Jesus' Aramaic, the word for truth, shrara, means a light or clarity coming from the heart that leads one in the right direction for that moment. Truth, what it means, the closest they can get, is a light or clarity coming from the heart that leads one in the right direction for the moment. And people who traveled seasonally without any permanent dwelling concerned themselves with finding such a light, an inner GPS. The word know, yida in Aramaic, means to grasp or hold something in one's hands so that we can use it. And the word for free, which is nashar, points to burning or leaving things behind that one no longer needs. So what was really said was, if you find a light emanating from your heart, it will lead you in the right direction. You'll know what to hold on to and what to release. So these ideas that we might have heard are not large enough to hold a feeling language that was shared. And I just want to go over the Lord's Prayer, just some of it, for you to get an idea of what might have been said. Because we were told, our Father who art in heaven, and meant up there. And yet that wasn't hallowed be their name. The whole idea was so different. So I'm just going to go through a few of these pieces, just so we can look at them and say, what might this be? And I want to start, of course, with the idea that there is no word Lord. So that means everywhere in the Bible that was translated, there were about 7 different words that were used. None of them actually meant that word. Instead, it was a larger idea, and they were not male or female. And I want to start, actually, before we do anything, I want to talk a little more about gender, because we've been hearing it over and over and over again of the Bible says this about LGBTQ. Well, it doesn't. We know that. But I want you to hear some of this, and this is from the footnotes in his research. The word gender in English originally meant only kind or sort when it was first used in the 14th century. 1,400 years after Jesus taught ideas, the word gender was used. It was completely unrelated to male or female. The word later took on a fixed reference to sex, another word not used to indicate maleness or femaleness, before the 14th century. From that time on, both words were progressively used to separate and value people to determine their status rather than to show interrelationship. Before that, at the time of Jesus, and I'm trying to find where my notes are, basically the idea of gender, it was a yin-yang idea of those who gave and those who received. And it had to do with hunters going out, and it was the ones who went out and looked for and caught what was needed, and the ones who received that. And it was not based and did not have to be a male or a female. Instead, it was the yin and the yang. And at different times we were givers, and at different times we were receivers. I've grown up hearing that the male and female is within every one of us because we have the thinking and the feeling. We have the giving and the receiving. We have that which goes out and finds, and then we have that which both receives and finishes the job. And those are the parts of ourselves. And so if we've thought that was one of the requirements, I just invite us to look again. Now, in this prayer, when the disciples said, teach us to pray. Now, again, that means teach us to set a trap so that we may tune in to something larger. And the setting of a trap had to do with hunting. They would set these containers out, and they had a way of them closing when whatever they were catching got into it. So it was a training to be able to create a container to hold a larger idea or that which we desired. The first line is Abrun de Bashmaya. And in Aramaic, that is considered any prayer. The main focus of the whole prayer is contained in that first line. And in that, you could find, in fact, in the first word would be the seed to the whole prayer. So it was not one word to one word. But Abun, usually translated as father, means parenting. And it is creative at its essence. I often heard it called, O creative one. It was not male, it was not female, but that each word it's a process. In fact, in Jesus' time, the word that's translated as God is actually a verb. It's not a noun, it's an action. What would happen if the essence of our understanding of this vibrant life within us and around us was a verb that is a process of moving? Anybody have any processes going on? How wonderful would it be to know that this process and this source is supporting us and living with us and moving through us? And so this whole idea of what that first line meant was literally just this way of, oh, birthing, fathering mother of the cosmos. And he said he added fathering mother because it felt like it was something that would help us understand that it's this essence that births. But he said more accurately, it would be something like this: from the divine source A breath from the heart is coming into the appearance of form in a mysterious way, giving birth to something new in this moment. He said, that's really what, and I remember Rocco Errico used to come and he goes, you people want it in a couple words. And he said, they don't speak in a couple words. It's impossible because they speak in ideas and every word is an idea. And I thought, wow, what would happen if we got that? Hallowed be thy name. That I always heard that means whole is your nature. But he said, really, what it means is that it's an opening in space. And whenever we hold an idea right here, it opens a space around it. And the seed that we plant has room to grow. So it's a birthing place. So it's stating the nature of the universe. And it is a creative nature. And when we can see that, it's like, wow, that's a whole different meaning. And he went on to say, thy kingdom come. And I'm not going to keep saying all of these words, but this is Teyete Malkotaka Hekel S. I didn't do a very good job with that one. May the creative breath, so thy kingdom come. May the creative breath, the fire of consciousness from the heart of reality arrive here. It wasn't kingdoms. It wasn't other ideas. It was something larger. Thy will be done. This line, he believes, is the heart of the whole prayer. And it's, let your heart's desire act with and through ours. It's acknowledging a larger essence and inviting it to work through ours, vibrating in all fields of life, coming together in perfect form. So it's an invitation to the universe to open so much. And the first half of the prayer reminds us of the phases of our life, and then we move into navigating our lives in community. And this idea of give us this day our daily bread, he said, and the explanations are fascinating. Create the humanly nourishing food for flesh, for self and heart, enough for what our daily needs reveal. We've learned we need more and we need more and we need more. But the suggestion was just hold a space for what we need in this moment and it will appear. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. I love this idea. Release the fruit that is not ours, the tangled cords of life, our clear ties to others, returning us to the heart's ripeness. And the whole idea is we go where it is ripe for us now. And what we need to forgive are the tangled cords that we haven't let go of. Anybody have any tangled cords right now? And they tie us to others. But when we let those cords go, we can open to that which is ripe now. Not what's ahead, but that which is ripe now. And so it talks about this nowness and letting it release the fruit that's not ours. So often we've kept hold of that which happened to us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And he said the shortest he could make it was, do not let us enter chronic forgetfulness of soul and source. On the contrary, release us from acting unripely. So that is still that word, unripely, not in tune with our self's purpose. So release me, release us when I move into forgetfulness and open to something more. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever, which is the divine vision, energy, and song. Accompany us on this journey. May all I have said be the earth from which my new growth springs. And the word that's used as amen is simply what it means is I will hold to the ideas I have said and walk in that way, in that path. So I'm just going to say it, I'm just going to read it together, and then we're going to move on to something else. But I just wanted to share this idea of, birthing, fathering, mothering of the cosmos. In awareness of the larger idea, I plant my seeds and leave space for them to grow. May the creative breath, the fire of consciousness from the heart of reality truly arrive here. Let your one heart's desire act with and through ours, vibrating in all fields of light, coalescing in all particular forms. Release the fruit not ours, the tangled cords of life, our clear ties to others, returning us to the heart's ripeness in the present moment. Don't let us enter chronic forgetfulness of soul and source. On the contrary, release us from acting unripely, not in tune with our self's whole healthy purpose. The divine vision, energy, and song accompany us on this journey. May all I have said be the earth from which my new growth springs. So as we breathe that in, I'm just inviting us to a remembering that what I am is a part of the universe that breathes through us. What I've been created to know and to experience is the largeness of this idea, the infinite essence of the evolutionary idea of humanity that's moving through us into something larger. This week, someone who often watches at home, Georgina Moran, some of you have had the blessing of knowing her, some of you have not, and I hope at some point we get to see her, even if it's on live stream. Her book, An Ingenious Way to Live, came out. Now this book, yes, if you haven't, it's available on Amazon, on Amazon Prime for Kindle at least, I know. But the way she wrote this book or named it was the phrase by Neil Marcus, "Disability is an art, an ingenious way to live." And for those of you who haven't met Georgina, she has lived with a disability that at this point has left her in a wheelchair and it has been for over a decade now. And as she's watched parts of herself, and her book starts saying, when I gave up the idea of my life in the forms of sport and all that was important to me, she got to find another part of what she was. Because all of the who that she was left. And she said, the irony of my life was that I learned of my true purpose when I was stripped of all I knew myself to be. I was a physically powerful, adventurous spirit who took on all challenges as a way of life. Through a rapidly progressive disease, I became paralyzed from my neck down within 20 years of my diagnosis. When disabilities obliterated the ways I found pleasure, engaging in outdoor explorations and sports, they opened up other opportunities and ingenious ways to modify play, enriching my life like never before. And when she had the courage to find another definition of who she was and the light in her, you can visit several of our parks, and she's on the sign because she's the one in Portland and throughout the United States who has been making our pathways and our hiking paths accessible. And so the paths say they're accessible for this and this and this. And she's a consultant around the United States for that idea. She's spoken in many places. She's shared her light. But it takes letting go of who we think we are, finding out what we are, which is a creation of the infinite with a mighty work to do, to step in to a higher purpose and a higher understanding wherever we are. And I just invite you to take that into your heart and say, Spirit, what am I? And how am I to share that? Thank you. Thank you. All right, and we are going to just take a moment and receive our tithes and our love offerings and the ability for you to make an investment in this community. One of the gifts that I believe Unity brings is an idea of your welcome here. And who you are is a mighty work of spirit. Right where you are, you have all that you need to do all that is to be done by you this day. And so if you're interested in ways to give, well, they'll be collecting things here, but there's also a blue card in the back of your seat or the seat in front of you, and you are welcome to use that. There's several different ways that you can do that, and I just invite you. Our blessing is divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are so blessed, and so it is.
The sound of terror is filling up my ears. Sometimes it's all I hear. The headlines call and hopelessness appears and fills my heart with fear. And yet a peace is here. I feel it very near. 'Cause God is good all the time. I'm created just the same on the earth, in the now. We are breathing life today. Every heart, every soul is a gift from heaven's love. And life is good, and so it is. Yes, life is good, and so it is.
Although the seas are blowing in the wind, though darkness draws us in, the evening falls and light is growing dim till morning dawns again and calls a light within. Oh yes, it burns within.
Oh, 'cause God is good all the time. I'm created just the same on the earth, in the now. We are breathing life today. Every heart, every soul is a gift from heaven's love. And life is good, so it is. 'Cause God is good. 'Cause God is good all the time. I'm created just the same on the earth, in the now. We are breathing life today. Every heart, every soul is a gift from heaven's love. And life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is.
Oh, thank you, thank you. We are so blessed. I wanted to share with you that next week we will have Reverend Steve Tolles here with us. He is a Unity minister who's been up in Washington for quite a while. One of the things he learned and he wrote a book on was walking the Camino and the spiritual journey. Actually, he's walked it 3 times or 2.5. So, and he said he learned more on the half than he did on the other 2 that happened later. But he'll be here next week. I'll be at the Parliament of World Religions in Chicago. What's fascinating is because so many of the Christian ministers have decided not to come because the Parliament is on girls' education, human rights, and climate change, they have asked New Thought ministers to be present, and it looks like we have done that, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that. Nancy Pelosi will be there. Jane Goodall will be there. Last time I was at the one in Toronto, there were 10,000 people from around the world, and having the opportunity to do that. So you'll hear more. I'll be back on the 20th. I will then be going on a month sabbatical, and we have some powerful ministers coming in doing workshops. Reverend Sylvia Hayes is coming in to do some. We have Reverend Sarah Nichols, who is a CSL minister, who is such a powerful teacher, and others who will share some ideas. And then when I get back, we will start our fall program on Living Untethered, which is a Buddhist way of going beyond the human predicament Anybody have any essence with the human predicament? We're going to keep on this idea of what am I and how do I move my way out of it. So I just invite you to be a part. And one of the great things as we recognize we truly are just walking each other home, we're all a part of the journey around us. And so as we sing our kids in, I'm just again inviting you to create an energy field of love into which they walk. It amplifies their understanding of who they are. It reminds them on a cellular level that they have come with a mighty work to do, and it's important for us because we came to be a part of the exchange of energy on this planet.
You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. And how we love you. Yes, how we love you. You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. How we love you. Yes, how we love you.
We are so grateful to have you all with us. Do you want this? Okay, Gina.
Good morning. I actually got to take over for Barbara, and she was able to come upstairs today, so we're all happy about that. We have a couple of things.
Morning, everyone. So we received a card this morning in YOU saying thank you for the service, and we just wanted to say thank you everyone who came and donated. It was really amazing. We raised so much money for the entire youth program, and it's really amazing to see how much the community cares about us youths, and we want to thank you.
And our Uniteens are, you guys are going, when are you all going to camp? 21st. The 21st of August, they go to camp. All right.
We're continuing our acts of service for this summer program, and Meadow's going to share what we did today.
Today we made bead kind bracelets.
So bead kind bracelets.
All right. All right, we are so happy to have our youth with us. One of the things that Unity has done and New Thought Centers have done around the world are to end and let there be peace on earth. And we believe when we join together in holding that space and consciousness, we remember that we are the anchors for peace on this planet. So I just invite you to stand and join with us. And please join us afterwards in the the garden party, the garden ice cream social.
Here we go. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other
Oh, yes. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. By the way, if you don't know, Bill, who is over our garden team, has spent the last month getting free ice cream so that all of the donations go to the garden space itself, which is above and beyond the call of duty. I don't know how he does it, and they have cake and all kinds of things out there. If you just want to go out and enjoy the flowers, it is spectacular. We're going to close with our unity prayer and then sing our youth out. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And by the way, if you want to know, the kids stomp to make it firm. They want to make their affirmations firm. We're going to sing our youth out.
1, 2, 3, 4.